G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in over on the west side of the map, we've got the one, the only, it is the Viper. And he's going to be playing the Abbasid Dynasty for us in the color blue. On the opposite side of the map, playing the Holy Roman Empire. In the color red, it's going to be Barcode, or as he likes to be called, Lily. You can actually see his name is spelt Lily up here. For me, over on this side, it just says it's a barcode, but we're going to call him Lily. Oh gosh, this is going to be fun. I mean, I'm going to enjoy this. Looks like he's opened up with a prelate. Doesn't look like a second scout coming out just yet. Nothing in queue either, so looks like he's going to just stick with a bit of a standard opening here. You can see him already rallying back the sheep. Now, the map, of course, Hill and Dale. We'll do a quick assessment and see what the threats looks like, but it actually looks to be a pretty darn good map when it comes to the fairness of the spawns of the relics. Now, obviously, on a map like this, Hill and Dale, the Holy Roman Empire are definitely one of the #1 civs when it comes to it. Now, both players have obviously got one safe relic, so Viper got a safe relic over on the north of his base. Lily's got a... we're actually going to call him Lily. Lily has a safe relic up towards the north of her base. Are we going to call her as well? Yeah, all right, this is Lily. All right, we are going to invent a complete persona for Lily here. Manages to find 2 out of 3 sheep. Let's see if he gets the third one. Doesn't, leaves it down there. If you've ever come to the corner of the map and been like, there's one sheep, that's why. Lily shows you how. But then the other landmarks, I mean, this one here kind of looks a little bit closer to Viper's base, but Lily obviously still going to be able to grab that one. This one, obviously very safe. This one down here, pretty darn good as well. So everything is Gucci in the... Everything is good in the hood. Let's go with that. Everything is good in the hood. Viper, interestingly, not going for a berry opening. So this, to me, indicates he's probably going to be doing a very fast second town center, which is pretty standard when it comes to this kind of map for the Abbasid Dynasty. Obviously, the Abbasid Dynasty at the moment considered to be an S-tier civilization by many. So at the top level, especially when you are talking about things like N4C, and it comes to the sorts of maps that they've got, this map in particular, you can see Viper actually going to be finding out. But look at this, 3 sheep just spawning in his base. Neither player actually spots this out. Lily does actually see the sheep up on the top of the hill, so could double back around, but Viper actually going to fall back as well. He's not even going to bother. A couple of wolves back down here. But yeah, a lot of people do consider the Abbasid Dynasty to be S tier. I watched Beastie Cutie's tier list. He said, I think the Abbasid Dynasty are S tier with Delhi. So, you know, not even putting Delhi a tier above them, actually putting them in the same tier. When it came to the Holy Roman Empire, he elected to put the Holy Roman Empire in the tier below those two. So I think he went with A tier, and it was the only civ in the A tier. So no Mongols, no French, it was just the Holy Roman Empire. And it is because of their performance largely on maps like this, because this map is a great map for the Holy Roman Empire. Gives them a great little way to defend their base, but take a look at the base for Lily. She's not going to have the most defensible base. Obviously, a position like this, always a very welcome sight, but take a look over on the north side of the base. So she's going to try and wall in. Now, she'll probably look to wall that in, but then obviously she walls out the relic. So you might even think about walling in that relic there. But the issue I want to draw your attention to is this one right here. You've got the front of her base, which is quite normal, but then you've got this weird little... I mean, it's probably like, you know, it's probably like 40 wood. It's not a big deal. Probably not even that, like maybe 30 wood. So it's not a big deal, but it's just another choke point that you've got to be thinking about. You've got to scout. You've got to make sure that you cover it, because if you don't, you're going to get held accountable, mate. You're going to get held accountable. But now Viper going to be looking to do that expansion. Going to be taking down a mill. Already getting an early wheelbarrow here. So that probably wasn't part of the plan, at least not what I expected. But you can see heavy villagers here. Going to be looking to get fresh foodstuffs. Probably going to be moving over to stone. And there goes the stone straight away. So looking to get that early second town center up very, very quickly. Holy Roman Empire on the other side of the map, though, probably just going to be looking to try and get up to the castle age as quickly as possible. Obviously, you can play a little bit aggressive in the second age as well. But... yeah, I mean, it depends on the civ that you're up against. I think up against the Abbasid Dynasty, you kind of know what you're facing. And I think there's 2 different ways that you can play this as the Abbasid Dynasty. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say that there's 3 different ways that you can play this. Number 1, 2 TC, feudal. So that's where you're thinking about camels, you're thinking about horsemen. You're coming out onto the map, you're looking to deny even potential spots like this. and you're just looking to really try and take control. The problem is, if your enemy even gets one relic, then they're going to be able to convert that into a very strong knight play. And so probably not a viable choice. Option number 2, 2 TC fast castle. Option number 3, 3 TC fast castle, which is becoming more and more popular. So we'll see what Viper opts for. I'm going to go for probably, I reckon he'll do a 2 TC fast castle. It's the safest build order, and then look to do a push with, you know, your standard archer, crossbow, spears, men-at-arms, that sort of thing. Obviously, going up against the Holy Roman Empire, you're probably wanting to mix in more archers than not, just because of the lance connect. So you need something to deal with that. You can't, like, normally as the Abbasid dynasty, you would go for crossbows and men-at-arms, but against the Holy Roman Empire, because of the lance connect, it's just better not to go for those units. Rather, mix in a few archers. They're a bit more effective, but you can see now, Lily going to be just looking to do a bit of a naked fast castle here. Hasn't done too much scouting of Viper's base. Obviously, came in early, spotted out the town center, saw everything that was going on, but has no real clue as to whether there's units coming out or not. Just going to be sending out a scout now. He's got the wolf in front of the base. It hasn't actually moved yet, so he's going to know that there's probably not too much coming up. He'll spot the stone out and immediately goes away. Viper actually staying on stone past 1100 right now. He's not pulling off stone. Okay, there we go. Now pulling off stone. Oh, God, what is happening with my mouse? Okay, there's this bug. I know it's never going to get addressed by the devs. You know what? I'm going to take that back. I know it's going to get addressed by the devs in 2024, but whenever I scroll like this, for whatever reason, it, like, resets the scroll. You can see my mouse over here, right? So I'm hitting my middle mouse button right there, and I'm scrolling across, and for whatever reason, there's a bug where it, like, I don't know what happens, but you'll see when it happens. I'll get angry when it happens, but looking to just leave 2 villages on the stone there, so maybe add in a 3rd town center a little bit later. Focus on getting up to castle in the meantime. Now Viper gonna be coming in, looking to scout out his enemy. Will he spot a Regnitz Cathedral? Not yet. We can see he's gathering up gold. Should be up, ready to go in about 60 gold. We'll see he is moving villagers out. Actually, he's all ready to go. So probably already got a prelate in queue. Yep, he's already got 2 prelates in queue right there. So the way typically to tell it is if they're at 2,800 gold, then they should be good to go if they've got the prelates in queue. But now Viper going to be coming around and looking to see what he can do. Just going to be spotting out a couple villagers on that gold. He does see the Regnitz Cathedral go down, so he's very familiar with what his enemy's up to. And look at this age up time coming through. Pretty darn decent time coming through here for Lily. She's doing quite well. 8 villagers on the cathedral. Now I'm going to be looking to probably move out. You've got 1 prelate out here. There it goes. So that was the bug right there. I have no idea how to emulate that. One of the things that we don't really see people do is move the prelate from their ark and chapel out, and I wish that we did, because I feel like the short amount of time that you don't have a prelate in here is 100% worth it, considering you're potentially guaranteeing that 3rd relic. First prelate going to be going out, 2nd prelate going to be going out, and 3rd prelate now going out. Still has the prelate in this Regnitz, so he's actually made an additional 3 prelates. So in that case, I'm going to withdraw my previous comment, and I'm going to say, Lily, you keep doing you, girlfriend. So Viper coming into this knows what his enemy is up to. 3rd town center going to be coming through for Viper. So really going for an aggressive build order. I didn't expect this. When I say aggressive, I mean not aggressive, a very, very economic, a very greedy build order. That's the word I'm looking for, greedy. So very greedy build order here, but going for 3 TCs. And I honestly think that you can actually fight against the Holy Roman Empire with this. Typically, you guys will be familiar with the Palace of Swabia. That's the big boy that sits up on the top of the hill and, you know, wins the game because it's just printing out villages nonstop. Well, 3 TC can actually kind of keep up with the villager printer, because you're going up against 5 TCs of your enemy, and you can see the walls now coming in for Lily, so she's looking to wall up this position. Viper actually going to be walling in his own base as well. Manages to take out that wolf in the front, and you can see that Viper can't spot out that scout, but the scout spots him, so he's going to know that they're up to the same thing. So this is very interesting, because Viper basically comes into this game and he says, Lily, here's the deal. I'm going to let you collect the relics. I'm even going to let you go Imperial. I'll let you do everything that you're going to do, and I'm confident I can still beat you. I can still beat what you're throwing at me. So let's see if Viper can do it. He's going to actually allow Lily to potentially pick up all 5 relics here. And so this is when you get like all 5 relics, I start to ask the question, maybe not on this patch, but maybe on the next patch, it's probably not even worth going to Regnitz Cathedral. Like, when you think about it, the difference is like 600 gold, or that actually works out to be 900 gold. because you've got 2 relics at 300 gold, so that's 600 gold, and then you've got 3 relics at 100 gold, so that's another 300, so a total of 900 gold. Whereas, like, right now, Lily's going to have 1,100 gold equivalent. But if they didn't go for the Regnitz, then they would have, like, a 500 gold equivalent. So it's still a big difference coming in now with the Regnitz Cathedral, but I feel like after the patch, it's probably not going to be the case. So we'll see. I mean, I'm sure players are still going to probably go for Regnitz the majority of the time, but I'm curious to see how the changes will affect the Castle Age timings. Viper now going to be, speaking of Castle Age timings, he's going to be looking to get up. Culture Wing going to be his choice. No upgrades coming through just yet. We'll actually check on the upgrades and see what he's got. It looks like just the wheelbarrow at this point in time. No other upgrades coming through. Going to be dropping down a barracks to begin the day. You can see the scout coming in on the back. Look at the oh no, that's a knight. I apologize. I was going to say, look at the scout looking up the hill. It can barely see. And then I realized, no, that's a knight, my friend. That is a knight. More knights now coming out. So Viper doing the right thing, walling up almost 100% on time here. He completes all of the walls here, makes all of his villagers safe, and such a smart investment when you think about it here, right? Like 5 wood for a wall, 25 wood for a gate. So this section probably cost him 75 wood. How much does it cost for an outpost? 100. So even if you put an outpost down here to protect these villagers, it's still going to cost more than just walling up. It just makes sense to wall up. So smart move there from Viper. It looks like his opponent Lily is going to actually find out all of those relics. We'll switch over to her perspective so that we don't hear those annoying attack sounds going off as the observer. We do often hear those quite in excess, but now going to be coming back towards the base. Interestingly, not dropping the relic in the outpost. This is something that people will do. He made a monastery instead, which is quite expensive. You could have just made another outpost and you would have been fine. But drops it in there. He's got access to, obviously, the unique upgrades that come in there. But 500, or 5 relics now coming in. Regnitz Cathedral, fully powered up. He does have that Palace of Swabia online. So this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Often I talk about the Exodia, you know, that guaranteed victory, and this is essentially it. It's very hard to lose from this position, and I'm curious to see how Viper is actually going to be able to tackle it, whether he's going to be able to tackle it, because as I said, I mean, up until this point, he's basically said, Lily, you do whatever it is that you want, I'm going to let you. So let's do a quick stock take at this point when it comes to villagers. So 33 villagers for Lily, and then over on the other side, Viper sits on 67, so more than double coming out for Viper on the villager count. And this is exactly what I was talking about, when you can actually compete with the Palace of Swabia when you go for 3 TC Abbasid Dynasty. And essentially the way it works is you get ahead early, and then obviously the Palace of Swabia is going to catch up, but eventually you are going to catch back up to them because there is an upper limit. You don't keep making villages until 200 villages. Your upper limit typically is going to be about 130 villages. And so by the time the by the time the Holy Roman Empire player with the Palace of Swabia actually gets to 130 villages, Abbasid Dynasty probably going to be on like 115, 120. So it's not a big difference for them. And then, you know, like a minute later, they'll be on 130. So it's absolutely fine for them to do this. But I think once it comes to the late game, I mean, who do you favor? Do you favor a Civ, a Civ that has got, you know, obviously a lot of upgrades for its units, very unique upgrades, a lot of camel upgrades in here, boot camp for the infantry? Or do you favor a civilization that's got a lot of infantry-orientated upgrades, that being the Holy Roman Empire? Interestingly, only using 5 villages on the Palace of Swabia. You want to get this bad boy up immediately, man. You want to have like 20 villages on that thing because it's just going to pay off so quickly. But now, actually, we talked about this earlier. Lily making a bit of a mistake, coming through the front gate, being left open right here. This is the consequence of having these unfortunate spawns. So even though the map has spawned absolutely beautiful, you can see that Lily's got a beautiful a wall that's come in, gone for a stone wall back here, another stone wall up on this position, leaves this open just simply because of the inconsistent map generation. Now, you could say that's bad map gen. You know what? I'm going to say it's bad map gen. That's really it. I mean, people are used to having 3 entrances to their bases. And now Lily, you're going to be sort of caught with her pants down here. Not the best position for her to be in. Manages to get all the walls up in the right position. Hopefully able to sneak through and actually get some walls in here. But Viper is inside the base now, harassing the villagers from Lily. You can see Viper also looking to clean up the knights over on the backside, doing a great job. We see the men-at-arms upgrades coming through. It looks like it's just going to be the veteran men-at-arms now looking to get the upgrades for the elite ones shortly. You can see all that gold really trickling in. Siege Workshop also coming out, a mangonel. Let's see if we can spot villagers coming down. Obviously, Lily is going to know about this position. Villagers villages actually get cleaned up over on this flank. Still, it's a stone wall. You're not getting through that unless you got some form of siege. But obviously, Viper playing as the Abbasid dynasty. I think we can hear the siege already rolling out, and indeed, it's the battering ram coming across the field. So this is the timing window that typically players identify as the major threat against the Holy Roman Empire. It is this early stage, right when they get their printer online, when they get their villager printer online, and Viper is really going to be going ham up against this. So he needs to make sure he does everything right. He can't make any mistakes. And we'll have a look at his production right now just to see what it is that he's got. So 4 barracks, 3 archery ranges, and a siege workshop coming out. Siege workshop going to be for trebuchets and upgrades because you cannot make those trebuchets out on the field. So you can see the Springald, the Mangonel can both be made on the field, but the trebuchet cannot. Interestingly, with the Mangonels, with the Mongols, you can make your trebuchets on the field, but they are not counterweight trebuchets. They are traction trebuchets. So a little bit different in their design and a little bit different in their statistics. But now you see the Mangonel going to be safely sitting behind the back. Still no wall up from here. I don't think Lily realizes that she's got a bit of an open back door. Probably wondering how those units got in and still not quite sure. Just typically players don't realize it or don't pay attention. Viper, got to be careful. Huge damage coming down right there. It looks like damage on how many of those units? Like we are literally talking 15 units that just get destroyed by that Mangonel. Not destroyed, but, you know, pretty badly damaged. Wouldn't be a bad idea up against, like, a heavy Mangonel civ, like the Holy Roman Empire. Maybe bring out a few healers or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm onto something? Who knows? Probably not. Probably too expensive. But we do have a mosque coming down, rather. So could potentially look at doing it. Bloody expensive, though. 150 gold for the imams. How much for the prelates? Only 100 gold for the prelates. Prelates have got all these beautiful bonuses as well, including this one right here. Benediction, aka Salt Bay. So this is a classic bonus. Inspired villagers construct 15% faster. Also 15% more delicious. Did you know that? I didn't know that. There you go. Now we've got the Mangonels really starting to build up. You can see the forces from Viper coming out. Still, I don't even think both players... I think Viper got these units through here accidentally. Like, maybe he right-clicked on the base and still doesn't realize that there is a gaping hole in the back of the defenses here for Lily. So she's going to have to be careful. She's going to need to button up because I tell you what, that is not pretty. Hopefully she manages to catch it. But now you can see Viper really looking to push in. Trebuchet continuing to unfold. Will enter into the cinematic mode as you hear a wolf going off in the background. Culverin looking to actually come onto the front lines. A little bit of a melee Culverin. A bit of how's your father going right there. Lily making a mistake. Mangonel going to go down, and this is the window that Viper was looking for. He manages to find it. Not a lot of units coming out for Lily. At this point, it looks like only the... Oh no, they are elite men-at-arms that have come out. More battering rams going to be coming down for Viper, and you can just see how effective these spears are as well in this mix. Only veteran spears, but I believe he's got phalanx. Yeah, he's got the phalanx upgrade, which doubles the range, and now look at him entering into the base of Lily at this point in time. So Viper actually says, you know what, Lily? You take your Exodia and you stuff it. Now we see a forward keep coming down. Viper really looking to take out his enemy at this point in time. And Lance Connects online. They are only the base level Lance Connects. We'll quickly check and see if we've got any upgrades coming through. Doesn't look like it. Only 4 barracks at this point. So you really need to consider the fact that in this position, it is the Holy Roman Empire needs to be adding in more production because they're going to have resources out the wazoo. You can see already just stacking up a couple of elite men-at-arms here. Ideally, you'd probably want to even be sitting on about 7 or 8 barracks at this point. Now Culverin needs to be careful. Going to be going down here. A lot of infantry on this position. Culverin needs to get healed up. Villagers do get pulled out for the repair. Doing a pretty decent job. Lance Connect's actually doing a pretty good job here. Great defense held by Lily. Lily manages to snipe out the Springald on the back line. Still got a bit of siege on the back. Mangonel goes down. Now going to be looking to focus down those rams probably, but it's actually... Oh, I bit my tongue just there. It's actually looking like a pretty good hold coming out from Lily, so well done to her. She's done a great job. And now we see Viper still managing to push in units. You can see them trickling across the minimap, just absolutely everywhere. Viper also going for a bit of a forward base now. Trebuchet continuing to hammer down on that Regnitz Cathedral, which is unfortunately positioned at the front. Now the mass from Viper continues to build up, despite that little bit of a hold coming through from Lily. We'll enter once again into the cinematic mode because this is a beautiful scene right here. Look at those farms. Unfortunately, unattended. Never the way you want your farms to be. Unattended. Never a good thing, but all beautifully around that Regnitz Cathedral. Unfortunately, it doesn't act as a resource drop-off point. Viper looking incredibly strong. I don't think he's going to lose this game unless Lily pulls out a Wallalol and like a rabbit out of her hat at this point in time. You can see the Culverin just trying to get to the back here, but now Viper forcing those villagers inside the town center. Lily looking to add some more production on the back line. It's going to be siege workshops and a couple more barracks. Definitely makes sense in this position, but at the same time, where is that food economy going to be coming in? Keep also going up on the front line. So Viper really putting on a clinic right now. now with the Abbasid dynasty demonstrating how to do it. You can see he's just absolutely everywhere throughout the base of the Holy Roman Empire. And it all goes down, well, I say it all goes down to this. It doesn't really matter. This never really mattered. You know, even with Lily not walling that up, I still don't really think it changes the situation. Viper broke through the front door. He said, that's my base. I'm taking it. And Palace of Swabia going idle. We're on 72 villagers right now for Lily. 118 for Viper. So behind this, he has managed to completely overwhelm his enemy with both military, with economy, and this is part of why Abbasid are considered to be an S-tier civilization. They are just so strong, and you can see those battering rams continuing to work down on the barracks now. He's got men-at-arms, but unfortunately, Lily just doesn't have the resources for it right now. You can see that she's got plenty she's got resources in the bank, just not enough infrastructure. 5 barracks out, but at the same time, not producing anything. Looks like a bombard going to be coming out and trying to damage down those battering rams. Definitely a good choice. Manages to get up a defensive keep in this position. Can probably look to hold, but once that Regnant's Cathedral goes down, we could see a potential snipe of these relics. Now, it doesn't look like Viper's got... He does actually have a monastery out, so we'll see. Maybe there is a scholar or two that will come past and look to actually snatch these out. But from this position, I feel like Viper is so far ahead. It's going to be incredibly difficult for Lily to actually hold this. And now battering ram going to be going down on the front here. You can see that the bombard looks like it might get focused down as the men-at-arms continue to push through. These guys have got +2 ranged armor. Look at the forces now coming out from Viper, completely encapsulating his enemy's army, doing such a great job, forcing his bombard, or forcing her bombard rather, back to that keep. And it looks like I'm going to call it. I think it's a good game. Viper's just in the economy of his enemy, completely out-economied, and what an absolute clinic, fellas. If you are looking for a way to play, look at Viper coming through with the forward mosque on the front lines. How cheeky are you, Viper? And good game gets called, fellas. I don't know about you, but I love to see Viper back playing Age of Empires 4. Obviously had a little bit of a break after N4C, some health issues there, but he is doing well. Obviously playing incredibly well, preparing for Golden League. So I'm going to leave a link in the description over to his YouTube channel. Make sure you check him out if you're interested in seeing AoE 4 content in the first person, because obviously I feel like I'm a little bit I'm sitting over the shoulder of Viper. I'm you know, doing a third person cast. So if you want to see some first person stuff, go over, check him out. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for enjoying my custard.